Okay, it should be recording, and you all can see the screen okay, right? Good with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, this is on graphing. This is due Friday. There's 17 problems total, and we are in the last module of this, which is the algebra, which is the last module on the math section of the praxis test. So let's go ahead and go to the graphing, and we'll start right now. So let's just click on it. So I already saw the first problem of this and wrote it up here on the left-hand side. So the first one says complete the table and then graph the graph here. So here's the equation that we got. This is called a linear equation because the graph is just a straight line. You can tell when an equation is linear because both of the variables will be to the first power. You don't see a squared or anything like that. So it's just going to be a straight line. And to make a line, you really only need 2 points, but they give you a whole bunch here. So what they want you to do here is put these values of X in there and then see what you get out for Y. So for example, when I put the -2, right here's a -2, if you put the -2 in for X right there, and I did this here, that's 7/2 times -2 minus 3. Well, you could do that on a calculator, but they make it pretty nice here that the 2's cancel out. So you would just get -7 minus 3, and -7 minus 3 is -10. And that means that you have the ordered pair at -2, -10. And you can see the answers here. The Y value is -10, and the ordered pair is -2, -10. Now, substituting in -1 is a little bit ickier. When you substitute in -1 in for X, you'd have, let's try to here again, 7/2 times -1, then minus 3. Well, 7/2 times -1 is just a -7/2. And -7/2 is, well, -7 divided by 2, which is -3.5 or -3.5 minus 3. If you do this, -3.5 minus 3 is -6.5. So that's a pretty icky point to plot, to tell you the truth, when you're plotting whole numbers. So while that is the point, so you can see it there's -6.5, and then the order pair, you see, you put the X and the Y together. Be -1, comma, -6.5 is the order pair, and we can check that here. So even numbers are easier to plot through this one because you have the denominators too. So when I substitute in 0, for example, that's an easy point to plot. So that's 7/2 times 0 minus 3. 7/2 times 0, just like anything times 0, is 0. So what we have right now is 0 minus 3, and 0 minus 3 is minus 3. So in other words, when I substituted in 0 for X, I got -3 for Y. And you would just do that for the rest of these points. But to tell you the truth, you really only need 2 points, and 2 of these are not even fractional values. So it makes it pretty easy to plot. So to plot this, what you do is, it's online right now, and you make sure you can see these points here. -2, -10 would be -2 on the X, and then down 10. See, here's 0 on the X-axis right here, and go -2 on the X-axis, and then drop 10. So that would be, you just got to be careful doing it over and down right here to -10. So I'll put a dot right there, and now it's looking for the second dot. Where do you want the second dot? Well, the one I'm going to plot is the 0, -3, because I don't want to try to plot that -6.5. So 0, -3 means 0 on the X and -3 on the Y right there. So if I do that, that's my 2 points. And if we click submit, I didn't answer all the questions, but you can see the graph is green there. So we're in good shape. All right. So let's, and I don't know if I got full credit because for some reason, I wiped out these points here, but I think we're good. If I didn't answer all those plotting points, but you can see that's how you get your graph. Now this one on question 2, Y equals 1. See, I'll show you how that works. If you plug in -2 for X, you say, well, where's the X? There is no X. So the Y is going to be 1 because the X values don't affect what Y equals. Y equals 1 all the time. So all these values all the way down here are going to be 1 because there's no x with it. This is a much easier problem. See, unlike the previous problem, it had an x on the right-hand side. So when we substitute those values in for x, there was an x to put it in, and then we had to work it out each time. But down here on this one, there is no x. The y is always equal to 1, no matter what x is. So that makes your order pairs like this one's going to be -2, 1. This one's going to be -1, 1. This one's going to be 0, 1, and that sort of thing all the way down. Just remember to put parentheses around them, put a comma in between, and then just graph it. So we only need a few of these points, like -2, 1 is right here, and then -1, 1 would be -1, 1 right there, and that's all we really need. And you can see it's a horizontal line, and that's the correct answer. Actually, I didn't enter all the stuff on the left-hand side, but that's all there is to that problem there. So the graph of an equation in the form of y equals a number. So anytime you have y equals a number, so I'll just put a y equals a number, and there's no x or anything like that, then you're going to get a horizontal line. Because the y, which is the height, is always going to be that number, that high. Like the last one, y equals 1, the height is always 1. When you have the x in there, y's and x's, you're going to get a slanted line in some way. Okay, so there's 2 of them. This one right here, x equals -2. So this is just the opposite. The x is locked in. So what is my x value here? Can't put in anything. It's telling you the x is -2. So this is -2. What's this x? It's -2. All these x values are -2, no matter what the y value is over here, because there's no y with it. This one only has x's, and it's locked in at -2. So now we can get our ordered pairs, like this one here has an x value of -2 and the y is -2. So you would just type it in this way, parentheses -2, comma, -2. And you do that all the way through. So this one would be -2, -1. This would be -2, 0, and so on, all the way down. Now, when you graph these, watch what type of line you get. So we get a point at -2, -2. So it's over here, 2, down 2, right here. And then another point we get is at -2, -1. So -2, go over -2 and drop 1 right here. And what type of line does that give you? A vertical line. So that's, I didn't do all the parts of that, but that's all there is on that problem. So just in terms of notes here, the graph of any equation that looks like x equals a number, and in other words, there's no y in this equation, is going to be a vertical line, straight up and down.
Professor, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do I put a negative? Because when I try to put -2, it says invalid notation.
Is that where you type in your ordered pair?
Yeah.
Okay, did you, it says that until you finish it off. So you have to start off with open parentheses, then the x value, comma, the y value, close parentheses.
Oh, okay. See.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Okay, here on question 4, they want you to get what's called the x-intercept and y-intercept. So I'll show you what they're talking about here. So here on 4, see, if you have a graph, so let's say here's your x-axis always goes this way, horizontal, and your y-axis goes this way. And let's say you have a graph that goes through these points right here and right here. And I'll just draw the line through there. Okay, so here's a graph of a line. Well, these points where the line hits the y-axis, that's called a y-intercept. Like the value of this y-intercept would be the coordinates 0, 3. The coordinates of a y-intercept always have an x value of 0. Like if it would have hit here, it would have been the coordinate 0, 2. Here would have been 0, 1, and so on. So the y-intercept always has an x value of 0. So 0 on the x, up 3. So that's the y-intercept. This point right here, right there, is an x-intercept. It's where the graph hits the x-axis. And the coordinates of this x-intercept are 1, 0. 1, 0. 1 on the x, not up or down. And the x-intercept always has a y value of 0. See, like if it would have hit here, then the coordinate would have been 2, 0. So that's what they're doing here on this. So on this equation right here, it's x minus 2y equals -2. So basically they're giving you a little table to fill in. So let's do that. X and y. And the first one, they give you a value for y of 0. So we know when we substitute 0 in for y, you're going to get an x-intercept when you work that out. So let's do this one. Put 0 in for y. So if I put 0 in for y here, I'll just draw an arrow here where it's going. It's going to go right in there for y. If we do that, we get x minus 2 times 0 equals -2. Now, the only thing we don't know what on this is x. There's only one variable left, x. So we can work this out. So we get x minus 2 times 0 is just 0. So minus 0, whatever you like to say, but it's 0 right there, equals -2. And x minus 0, anything minus 0 is that thing back. So just like 8 minus 0 is 8, x minus 0 is x. So you get x equals -2. So that would be the x-intercept, -2, 0. Now let's get the y-intercept. So see, here's that coordinate we got, -2, 0. And now they're saying put 0 in for x. Well, when you put 0 in for x, you get a y-intercept. So I'm going to put 0 in for x on this same equation. So I'll put the 0 here. I'll show you where I'm putting that 0 right in there for x, right there. So if I do that, I get 0 minus 2y equals -2. Well, 0 minus 2y is -2y. Just like 0 minus 2 is -2. Okay, it doesn't affect it. Equals -2. Now we got to solve this, so we have to divide both sides by the -2. So that divides down to 1 right here. And in fact, so does the other side. -2 divided by -2 is 1. So I get the y-intercept to be 1, or the coordinate 0, 1. So let's go ahead and plot those 2 points. So 1 point, and that's all you really need to graph a line, is 2 points. So one's at -2, 0 right here. And the other one is, let's see if I can get that here again. I guess I got to click on that line here. Let's see. Graph the 2 points. Okay, well, I'm trying to. Well, let's just see. Try it again here. -2, 0 right here, and 0, 1. For some reason, this one isn't letting me draw it. Let me try it again here. The pen shows up. Has anybody made it to this problem? Question 4.
I am doing it right now.
Are you able to draw on yours?
Yeah, but I had to double click, I guess, fast.
Huh, maybe it's my mouse. So yours is drawing, huh?
Yes.
Wow, why isn't mine drawing? I'm going to pause this 1 second. So hold on a second.